Let's finish it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of The Closing Pitch. My name is Spiker Helms, and this is a show about people, culture, and how to create a winning lifestyle. How do we create a culture that breeds success, has fortitude, and just thrives off of positive energy? And I'm currently working on trying to build our Rawlings Tigers YouTube channel as well as The Closing Pitch. Shameless plug, please subscribe to those channels and also like the video if you're watching this video. But I've been deep diving. I've been doing a lot of research and have been picking up a number of books. And there's actually a guy that I'm following that he has a really good formula, and hence his book is called The YouTube Formula, but a formula for not only building YouTube channels, but also a formula for building a successful community. As I was reading this, there was a lot of things that are applicable to what I experience as a director. The benefit of being a director is that I get to see a lot of different dugouts. I get to see a lot of different team cultures. Inside the Tigers organization, we have a culture, but there's also microcultures inside of our org, which is very fascinating to me. When reading Daryl's book, The YouTube Formula, he points out 7 different things when it comes to building a successful community. And I want to share those points with you because I think that for me, it's something that I'm chewing on and I'm also auditing myself. And it's really good advice and really good points to keep in the back of your pocket or keep in the back of your head. And those points are as follows. Whenever we think about successful teams like the Patriots, the Cardinals, a successful team inside of your own organization, your own business, or a volunteer group, there is a story that's behind it. And that story could be about one person, that could be about a group of people. It could also be about the organization itself. So point number 1 is there's an origin story. When thinking about building a YouTube channel, which is what I'm trying to do right now, is that we have to deliver our origin story. I've delivered our origin story on The Closing Pitch countless of times, which is we are 2 directors. We saw a need inside of the space that we are in that we need to deliver more culture type of content. There is a lot of drill videos. There's a lot of coaching type videos, but there's nothing that deals with culture. And we wanted to fill that void because we are very driven on trying to provide life skills for our players. So if we're able to provide those skills outside of our organization and inside of our organization, we are fulfilling our mission. Which then leads me to point number 2, which is your creed. The creed is super important. You have to have a mission statement behind your story. For me, my mission statement is very simple. My why for what I do is I want more players in the game. I want more people to adopt the game because I believe that this is the greatest game when it comes to developing life skills. Just my humble opinion, but I am very driven by that because I have evidence of a lot of people that have had successful careers outside of this game, and they always point back to it was because I played the game of baseball. Now, it doesn't mean that there's a knock on other sports. It just means that for me, baseball is that thing. So if you're trying to develop your mission statement, one book that I've recommended before on this podcast is Simon Sinek's Start With Why. It's a very in-depth book, and it really describes with an organization or a person, how they're able to attack audacious goals with the premise of what their why is. It also gives you a little bit of an origin story. So if we think about it, whenever you follow somebody or follow an influencer or a leader, you really buy into the origin story and the mission statement. If you listen to any podcast, especially with us, when we do interviews, the first thing that we try to do is we really try to deep dive and get the origin story of the person that we're interviewing. At some point, we really try to get the why of who they are and what they do. If you listen to the Tiger interview series, that's something I completely try to go all in on right from the beginning, because it gives them validation, as well as it really shows that they care about what they're about to speak on. So when you try to develop a community and you try to get people together to create this positive culture that's going to breed success, you have to have an origin story in play. You'll also have to have the why. It could be your why, or it could be the why of the group. The third thing that is mentioned in Daryl's book is icons. Whenever I think about icons, first I think of the song, but the second thing that I think of is Apple. Apple has two different types of icons. It's the best example. They have the logo itself, which is the apple, and someone has taken a bite out of the apple. And then you also have Steve Jobs, who he has not ran the company for quite some time, and he's a social icon when it comes to the tech space. Many founders always reference, I wouldn't say always, many founders reference Steve when they talk about building a business or building a startup. So inside of the community itself, there can be a number of icons. That could be a logo, that could be a person, that could be an inanimate object. Whenever you look at the College World Series, you see these types of icons that pop up that really present themselves when the team is on a winning streak. Some teams have, we're going to dye our hair blonde. That is an iconic symbol for that team. Or we're going to have this pet rock that is going to be our rally rock. That is an icon as well. The fourth thing is rituals. This is massively important when you think about successful teams and a successful community. What is the thing that you do consistently that differentiates you from everybody else? Whenever I had a team, what I presented and what I proposed in the beginning of the season is that we are going to outwork the team in pregame, outwork our opponents in pregame, and which will then help us outwork them in game. So we showed up earlier, 15 minutes before the hour mark, and then at the hour mark, we started our pregame. We would have very designated spots. We would have the warm-up, then we'd split into offense and defense, then we would go into our individual positions and work on specific skill sets. That was our ritual. Rituals come in different forms. Another example is Walmart. They have greeters. That is a ritual. So when you think about building a community, you have to find what those rituals are and establish those rituals early on in the process. The fifth thing is sacred words. Sacred words are the communication tool that your community has. In baseball and softball, we have our own language. We have our own terms that mean certain things. In the financial world, they have words that they use that mean certain things. When you have someone that has lived in the sports space and dump them into the financial world, they would get very confused very fast. They would need a lot of reps and be around financial people to understand the language, the lingo, the technobabble. The same thing goes for someone that has been in the financial space for their whole life and has never been exposed to sports. When you drop them into the baseball and softball world, they will get confused very fast. Prime example, rub some dirt on it. They would think, well, why would we want to do that? Because that's going to cause an infection. The sixth thing is the non-believers. I have struggled with this so much in my career, is that I'm a person that wants to be friends with everybody. So I have the tendency to please. I want to help everybody. But when I want to help everybody and please everybody, I am for no one. So I have to draw the line. I have to state my origin story. I have to state my mission statement. I have to give you my rituals. I have to give you my sacred words. Because then that's going to draw a dividing line and people will know exactly where I stand. Early on in my coaching career, I wanted to be friends with all of the players, but that did not work. I had to give them clear-cut points that this is right, this is wrong. This is what I stand for, this is what I don't stand for. And what happens is that you are going to find out who the non-believers are and who are the believers inside of your organization. That doesn't mean that the non-believers will not tote the line, and that does not mean that the non-believers will fight against you. They will fight against you, and they will tote the line. So when you are able to establish who you are and what you are for and what your story is, your goal is to have a lot of the believers inside of your team, inside of your community that believe in what you do. So that when things do get rocky, when you do start getting into a losing streak, the believers will come up and they will protect the story and the creed and the icons and the rituals and the sacred words inside of that community. That's how successful teams build successful programs. The last thing is the leader, number 7. And I mentioned this back in number 3. The leader can be the icon, and the icon can be the leader. But there is a distinguishing line between leader and icon that we have to know, is that there has to be someone at the top. Because there can be an icon, but it can be a negative icon. There can also be positive icons. The leader has to be established in the community. That could be a player, that could be a parent, that could be a coach. That could be someone in your organization that you see that has very high quality skill sets and that stands up for things that they believe in. And you think that's someone that people need to follow because that is in line with our company or our community or our team. A prime example that I love using is that you have the Patriots. Bill Belichick is a leader, without a doubt. He's very good at what he does. You also have Tom Brady. Tom Brady is an excellent leader. Both coincided in one organization. So there can be two leaders. But as a coach, you have to know that you are a leader. Whenever teams go in the wrong direction is when there's not a leader that is established. If there's no leader established, that defaults automatically to the coaching staff. When that happens, you have to lead by example, and you have to be very, very involved with your community. Now, with a Bill Belichick where he gives leadership to Tom Brady, he's allowed to work on the team rather than inside the team. Whenever I coached, I tried to establish and try to figure out what were the players, what do they have to offer, what type of personality do they have, what type of skill set do they have. Then I would try to find out, is there a leader in this group? If there wasn't, I had to be completely involved. I had to be a part of the warm-ups. I had to be involved with the BP. I had to be involved with the defense. I had to be involved with the decision-making. I had to be involved with conditioning. Every aspect of the team I had to be involved with. But when there was a leader, I was able to take a step back and know, hey, they are going to be able to do warm-ups on their own because I know that there's a leader in there that's going to make sure that the team gets prepared for the game. Guys, those are the 7 things that I have been thinking about for the last 2 weeks when trying to build this YouTube channel. I'm trying to build a community where in-game adoption is one of the highest priorities, but also giving the ability for people to speak their mind and also add into the community. So what I want to do is I want to extend my email address out to you guys, and I want to know who we have in this community. And if you don't know if you've never met me and you're listening to our podcast, please send me an email with your name, who you are, what you do. And I'd like to open up a conversation, because the biggest thing for me is to apply the skills that I have learned on our YouTube channel, but also I want to apply the skills that you guys have. So make an introduction with me, send me an email, and I'd love to start a conversation. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this podcast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also like this video if you are watching this on YouTube. Thank you guys, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for watching or listening, or both, to The Closing Pitch. If you would like to get your closing pitch featured on the show, we use a podcasting app called Anchor, where you can submit your statement or question via audio. Or what you can do is comment in the comment section of this post. We also accept direct messages. Please give us the A-OK if you do send us a DM to use your statement or question on the show. Last thing, please give us a review on your platform of choice. 5-star preferably, and we value your opinion, and this allows us to reach more people. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you in the next episode.